Louise?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. Dear Louise, how often did you suffer bruises from the violent scenes? And what was the worst? Renee Starr said this one. There you are. Renee, probably did suffer bruises. I don't remember, but in those days I was very young. So my body responded a lot better than it would now. But we had fantastic stunt coordinators on that show. One in particular, Glenn Ruland, who was actually very easy eye in the eye.
Wasn't he?
And he taught us how to do great stunts, which was fantastic. And I, because of the role that I was playing as Lou, I got to do them a lot, which I loved. I was always jumping off something or killing somebody. So it was wonderful. But I don't think I ever walked. I've had more injuries in the theatre than I've ever had on television. I've been injured. I mean, 2 years ago I incurred a heel fracture at MTC. So, that was putting the wrong shoes on. So it's much more dangerous to work in the theatre, I think, than it is in TV. So that would be my answer to that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Louise. Maybe it's boring saying this, but Victoria, my darling.
Oh, so sweet. Now, I've got funniest moment in Prisoner. The hardest part to play. It wasn't the hardest part. My most favourite part was the riot.
Oh.
And I'm not sure who was trying to pick on me. I can't remember. Can anyone remember that scene? They had the smoke machine going. Was it Mari Winter? Yes. Yeah, Maggie went. Oh, yes. Maggie Miller. Gorgeous, beautiful, gentle Maggie Miller was playing this really tough part. And we had this fight scene. With Maggie. And it was choreographed by Mr. Hanson that you mentioned. Yes. And I found my feet because I'd been finding the part a bit of a struggle, a little bit challenging and being a sort of an isolated character. So you kind of bring your character home with you to kind of keep the momentum going. Not that you behave like the character, but you carry the essence of that person in your persona. And I had this opportunity to do some physical work, and I was a very fit, very athletic person. And I just flew. I felt like I was not even touching the floor. I'm kicking, I'm punching, I'm doing my karate. I'm looking fabulous, and then I turned around and walked straight into a wall. Well, we had to do that again. The smoke shed was going, everyone was swearing, so that was my favourite bit. I'm not sure who asked those questions, but thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And of course, that question is what it is. I'm going to see darling Desiree. Are we coming yours? Okay. I'll sneak back to my secret lady here. Jan, your next question?
Oh, well, I sort of asked the other one. The other one was, what about a potential artist inspires you to cast them? Well, mostly talent. They've got to have the talent. And dare I say it, and I will, what I see on television a lot these days, that's missing.
Yeah.
And I think, casting a lot these days are, and I've spoken with some of the actors here, they cast so much younger ones these days. And something I learnt many years ago from a lady called Betty Pounder when I worked for J.C. Winston's, and she always would cast the older actors in roles and then the younger ones. And my first pro show I did, that's how I learnt a great deal from the older actors and performers, because what they also do is lift your performance. And this is something sadly missing from our television shows today, that we are losing and have lost many of our wonderful, wonderful actors. who could have given so much help and that to younger performers. And sadly, we're not seeing our older actors on screen as much as we should. And we don't give them the respect in this country that they deserve for the years that they have put in to the work, the wonderful work that they have done, the wonderful pleasure and joy they have given us all for their work. And they certainly need to be given a lot more respect in this country, and that really makes me very, very angry. And don't get me started further on that, because I will talk a lot more about it.
Thank you, Jan. The start of the panel, Kevin, will get another one from you.
Thank you. No, just a little question about hobbies and things that one does in another life. But I'm saying to Jan over lunch, you know, as you get older, older actors and things dry up, but I've got a lot of friends, you know, that's
Careful about what you said when
yeah,
rise up.
I won't mention it. But I mean, there's always the search for, you know, for continuing in the business, for many in your life, and it's, I'm very fortunate in that. I always have my writing to go back to. And I'll be very lucky to have the number of plays that I've written performed around the country. And memorably in Amarillo, Texas, I don't know how they even found out what the play was about, but just as an aside, they said, we'd like to do the play up there, and can we take out all the naughty words? Which is a barrier, because this is Amarillo, Texas, where everybody carries AK-15s, you know, in the streets, but you're not allowed to say the F word. So it was a lesson to the whole. But as I said, I'm very fortunate that my hobby basically is still within the business of acting and writing. So there you go.
Thank you for that, Kevin. For the start comment, I'll expect the $20 later. Don't forget.
In the
I'll get it at dinner.
In the boat.
Ro?
Yes,
Is it
yes.
One of yours?
There's a question, would you ever reprise, I don't know which it is now, the roles of Anne Griffin or Pat the Rat if asked? Well, I'm too bloody old now, but if I were younger, in a second. They were fabulously written roles, and I loved Anne Griffin because I love the maddies and the baddies, and getting to do both at once is fabulous. I mean, it really gives you scope as an actor when you've got a mad baddie or a bad maddie, whatever. And it's just great fun to do the work. And the cast on Prisoner was fantastic, and I had a wonderful time. And yes, I would do it again, but lost my memory and I'm too bloody old. So there we go.
Thank you, Ro. Jan, we'll come back to him for you for another question.
Oh yeah, so this one's from Hayden C. Howdy Hayden C. Thanks for asking me this. I just don't know the answer.
No, that's okay.
Janice, what was the powdery substance that Myra, Judy and Cass had a part in shoving down your throat? So it was the angel dust story, wasn't it? I don't know. Do you know?
The drug itself, they said, they thought it was one thing and it turned out it was actually angel dust.
Oh, wow.
But I do believe, and I have to get,
I
I believe from, I think possibly Mr. West will be able to answer, I believe it was just sucrose powder. So like a powdered sugar.
I reckon that sounds right to me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry that I don't remember that one. Yeah, pretty good. How do you find playing the role of a rebel in Reb King? Well, of course, same as Roy just said, playing baddies is so much fun, you know, and it's kind of easier in some ways than playing straight people.
Yeah.
The subtleties, you know, as specific, and there's, of course, everything's about detail, of course, and you can't just do a wash of you know, bad traits or something. But it took me a while to find Reb, actually. If you look at the first, I'd say 4 or 5 weeks, you know, I was trying to find the energy that was right for that person, and finding the detail is what got me there in the end. But so it was hard to find her, but once I had her, piece of cake and really good fun. Thank you.
Victoria, my darling.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yes, I have one from Hope. Is it? Hello, Hope. Hello, you've got that beautiful dress on.
Yes.
Stand up and show everybody your beautiful dress. Look at this. Gorgeous. Do a 12. Do a 12 for me. I love it. It swings all the way up. Thank you. Well, here we go, Grandma. She's asking this question, did you get to keep any mementos like costumes, props, etc.? Do you collect retro stuff?
Not really.
No,
Just
well, I'm
recreational.
sorry, but I didn't. And after I finished filming on the show, no, I mean, I couldn't really see myself goose stepping down the road. Jawohl, move on, right, look the park, spot, move your car. But it could have been a bit of a handy thing to do. No, I didn't keep anything. I'm one of those boring, honest people that I don't steal stuff or take stuff or collect stuff. I'm not saying that anyone collects things is wrong, but once I finish doing a show or a job or something, I don't want to know about it. I just kind of forget it. I forget the lines. I forget everything about it. Not because I hate it, but because there's no room in there to keep hold of all this information and then move on to the next part. So unfortunately, I don't have any mementos, but I probably should. I've got some photos, but that's about it of us. Louie and I, we became very, very close friends, and we've been friends since then. When did I start? 1985 or 4 or something, and we've been very long-standing friends for all those years, and it was the best thing that came out of Prisoner for me was the friendships that I made. You know, it makes me want to cry. But anyway, so thank you.
Oh, sure.
Go for it, Louise.
This has been prompted, so it's not me kind of banging my own drum. I've just published a book, which I was asked to do really, because lots of people often ask actors about how do they continue to be creative, because I also write and produce my own work, and I'm involved in the dramaturgy of a lot of other things. I've just done a feature film and I was helpful in the dramaturgy of that. So I do lots of other things other than just acting. So often people will ask actors or creative people, inverted commas, that they work in a creative field, be it a painter or a writer, how can I be more creative? Or they don't perceive of themselves as being creative. So my very dear friend and colleague Georgina Kappa and I worked on a book across COVID, mostly over Zoom, and we've created a year-long project by which you do a simple, singular task every day. And in 2016, when I was doing House Husbands, every year I try and teach myself something new. And in 2016, while I was still doing that show, I decided I'd teach myself to draw. So I had to draw every day, and then to keep myself on top of it, I would put it onto Instagram. By the end of the 24 hours, I'd have to go onto Instagram. And at the end of that year, I thought to myself, I'd like to use these drawings to do something, because I didn't teach myself to be Leonardo da Vinci, but nonetheless, I got better. And what it proved to me was the old adage about work, that everything is work, including creativity. So Georgina is also an actor, but she's also in the marketing department at the Mana Theatre. We decided that we would make something that was accessible for people, that they could manage in a day. So every week you get 7 tasks that have to be completed by the end of that 7 days. Simple things that don't take hours and hours of extended work. You're not writing novels and so on and so forth. And we decided together that we wanted to do something that we could publish. And that was what we did for that year, which ended up taking us 3 years. But nonetheless, we did what we said we would do, which was that we turned up every day and we did the next part of the book until the book got published, and the book was published at the beginning of this year. And if you go onto my website, louisesiversen.com.au, there's a page dedicated to my new book, Do Your World Differently, 365 Ways to Shake Up Your Life. So you can find where you can purchase the book on there, and they will deliver you a brand new copy which is printed solely for you, so it takes a little bit longer for it to get to you. And Georgina and I would be thrilled, that you would purchase the book, because we never imagined that we were going to get to that point. But we hope, if that's the case, that it does help you engender your life and enrich your life with more creativity. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about that.
Absolutely, and just to make it a little bit easier, fans, give us a few days, but we will get that link and we will post it as soon as possible to the page, so it'll make it a bit easy for you to find it. You know, we love to give our support to our cast that we have and give them our love. Now we're only going to be able to do a few more questions, so we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to get to the part I'm sure most of you are absolutely dying for, and that is the autograph service. So we're going to go 2 more. We'll come down to see beautiful Anne again with your question.
My other question is, would you, that's a bit faint, could you read that for me? I don't have my glasses.
Would you like to reprise the role of Match Bishop if they ever asked you to return from the grave again?
Well, who's responsible for that? Nobody's owning up. Well, I mean, as you point out in the question, I have already been exhumed once. And I think it's probably, as far as the management's concerned, too much of a good thing. And they don't fancy bringing her back dripping with dirt again. Really. I probably would do it. Because, you know, one needs to make a living. But I prefer something else at this stage. Thanks for the question.
I think if they were going to bring her back, ladies and gentlemen, I think the only way they put as a ghost form would be maybe if they ever decided to say goodbye to Harold Bishop. They could reunite together. Now that would be a scene worth a lot of tissues.
Could I go to the funeral?
I mean, you'd probably be there.
Hey, can I ask Anne a question?
Ooh, we have a... You know what, we're going to have to do one more question after this, Baz, but we'll let you have this one.
Anne, there's an urban legend going around. Madge's death scene. In the background, death scene. In the background, in the bedroom, there was whips and chains and leather gear on the walls. And there's photos of it. Were you aware of this?
I need to hear the question. Didn't quite get that.
When Madge was dying, in her bed,
Oh, yeah.
in the background, there were whips, chains, leather gear.
I think his face is saying, guilty!
As guilty as hell. I knew that those deathbed scenes were going to be very turgid, and it was going to be all a bit of a trial for the whole cast who was on set. So I decided to blackmail the art department and have a little light comedy going behind the bedroom door. And they arranged whips and chains and leather belts. That sort of made it quite clear to me what it was. I mean, they didn't see them, but it helped us. And it sort of brought to the fore the fact that Madge and Harold had probably had quite a fun.
I think both Sally and Anne